Alright, and welcome back to So Average Kira's channel. Today we are focusing on Horizon in our series of looking at how each legend fits into Season 9. Horizon featured quite heavily in the patch notes for Season 9 for one very good reason, and that is to do with her kit. Anyone who played Horizon Season 8 knows how strong this character is. She is just mobility-wise fantastic. She brings back a lot of that vertical mobility that people had missed when it came to Pathfinder and he got left into the ground. But his time has come for Horizon to fall. Or is she? We're going to find out. So her kit, to begin with, is the passive where you drop out the sky, land down, and normally with any other legends there's a moment where they all have to sort of do a mini squat and bend their knees, like they're not quite that strong, a little low, it's like ooh, and then they can run and move out and shoot. Horizon doesn't have that. She just goes bam, straight into the run, straight into sprint using her guns. So when you're pushing from height, she is the perfect one to do that. Her tactical ability is the gravity lift, where you throw down a small device which then opens a gravity rift, sends people flying up into the air. And this is obviously very good for jumping up high, getting the immediate building climbs you need, getting above your opponent, or even sending your opponent up against the ceiling and trapping them. So she has both a mobility tactical, but it also works as a trap and a zone controlling tactical as well, which is one of the reasons why she's so strong. And then her ultimate, which is a giant gravity grenade, basically. It opens a black hole, sucks everything around it in. Anyone who's played Titanfall 2 will recognise the gravity star. Does exactly the same mechanic, so that's where that's come from. So even with Horizon, there are links back to Titanfall 2, and I believe her story and the lore goes way back to that universe and that era as well. So we're going to play with Horizon. Now unfortunately, Season 9, they realised her gravity lift is too fast. You can vertically rise too quickly and for too long, and you can pop off a shield bat in that time. You could use it as your own personal sniper tower. It was very hard to shoot Horizon up there because you had so much room to strafe as well. But now it's a really slow, much more difficult to control rise, and it will chuck you out the top of it after a couple of seconds. You can't just stay up there for as long as you want using it as a sniper tower until the tactical itself runs out. So we'll see what we can do with this today. Although I think in this fight, in this battle, I think we pretty much just ignore the tactical. And that's one thing that I think could save her in Season 9. If people stop using the tactical, focus more on her passive and her ultimate, she could still be super strong in Season 9. Of course, we now have legends like Valk who have the verticality that Horizon has lost, so we're going to see less of Horizon played. We've especially seen that in LGS and in some of the tournaments as well, as Valk is starting to come through. People have returned to Wraith even, now that Horizon's tactical is basically like a really slow 70s elevator. As you slow yours up and you just get beamed, and it's just kind of pointless. And as you can see as well, we are continuing the fight against disconnects and rage quits, as I went for the Bloodhound revive, and unfortunately he thought he had better ideas and just left basically. So it's down to me in the bang, which is a shame because the Bloodhound bang combo is one of the best combos in the game. When we talk about combinations, we normally talk about Horizon's ult with maybe Caustic or Fuse or Jibby's ult. Because it sucks people in, traps them, and they take all the damage from the ult. But with Bangalore and Bloodhound, you have a tactical combo, so you can use it far more often, and it can be a huge situation changer, table turner, because you know where they are, they don't know where you are, and you can absolutely throw the enemy into complete chaos. And here we go. So me and the bang. Let's see what we can do with Horizon. I'm also using the flatline and repeater for pretty much this whole game, actually, I believe. So the repeater was difficult to use previously. It's now a marksman rifle, which is where it should have been. We only had assault rifles before, but now we have marksmans, which is the G7, the repeater, the triple tick. Not the longbow for some weird reason, even though its name is the longbow DMR, but for some reason that's not a marksman. But there we go. Bang, saving my ass once again. And that's the thing, I had one just pathetic teammate that left, and then I got left with this Bangalore who actually does an incredible job as a teammate throughout this. And as we heal up here, we reset, and we're going to go into another fight, I believe, because we dropped thermal, we dropped hot, we dropped with the diamond players. And I don't think the fight is over just quite yet. Yep, there's the Bloodhound scan coming out. So let's see how we deal with this with the flatline. Oh, it's not looking good. Come round, let's see how we can take. We see the Bloodhound, but I didn't see the Wraith, unfortunately. So I take one, but I can't take both in that situation. Although, that was close. If I had shatter caps, maybe that would have been a different story. So the repeater can have shatter caps on it, which basically turns it into an EVA 8, but with a bigger magazine. But same fire rate, roughly the same damage, but you just have to reload less, and it's actually really, really good. So there's nothing special about Horizon when she's being attacked. You know, she hasn't got anything to help her disengage as much nowadays. So we do get knocked quite a lot, but luckily I've got the gold knockdown shield. I think I've lost count now how many times I've been revived and now revived myself. Comment down below if you know how many it is at this point, because I genuinely have lost count. And obviously the Halo playing Diamond Wraiths, when your Wraith comes in, the Halo jump off the wall there. Bangalore has got this covered. So once again, another revive. I have no idea how we are still going, and boom, we clutched that up. That almost might have been down to server lag, because as the Bangalore dropped to the floor and I rose, as Horizon rise from the depths, hip fire the flatline, and we clutched that up. And of course, Bangalore can have that gold body shield for that. That was absolutely insane. Great start to the game, but as this is how a lot of pubs seem to be going right now. So we're in round 1, ring 1, and there are now 6 squads left from 20 before the end of round 1. 6 squads, half of them probably in thermal station right now when you look at the amount of death boxes that are around. But I don't know if that's ever going to change. I don't know what Respawn can even do about that. They were going to bring in 2 LTMs that were addressing that, but then they didn't work. So if you've got any ideas, do tell me about what can be done about, well, 2/3 of the lobby dying in the first round, because there's no point having 5 rings if we're only ever going to make it to round 3. And look how many death boxes there are, absolutely tons. Right, so now let's get back to Horizon. So to bring her back to the meta, and I know a lot of people really enjoyed playing Horizon. One of my squad mates, White Wolf, really used to be into playing Horizon. He used to be a Wraith and a Pathfinder, and he went straight to Horizon as the next mobility character. Now he's a Valk main. So how would he ever go back to Horizon? At the moment, it's a no from what we've seen from other Horizon players, of them slowly floating up into the air like a little piñata, just getting absolutely decimated. It's just, unfortunately, not worth it. And then this is the problem with there only being 6 squads left at the start of the game. Suddenly, everything goes very, very quiet as the 6 teams left that actually wanted to play the VR are left to try and figure out where they all are on possibly the biggest map in Apex at the moment. It's pretty close between Olympus and World's Edge actually at the moment, but World's Edge has much more difficult rotations. It's probably why it's more competitive. But you can see all of the mountain ranges, all the terrain makes it very, very difficult, which is also why Valk is so incredibly useful now in the competitive meta. She can just fly over the mountains no problem. I don't believe Horizon's lift can take her up high enough to do that. So maybe they just need to buff the height of it. Maybe it can go higher. That could be quite interesting to match with the Valk meta as well. This is one of my favourite areas of World's Edge, the tree. I love the detail on the tree itself. My favourite place to drop, probably my first place to visit and loot. There's always good loot here. It's a big area, you can get 2 or 3 teams in this area, you'll all get a gun and you'll be able to have an actual fight as well. It's got different levels, it's got with the height, and you can see right across the sorting factory, so you can see the other team rotating in there. I don't know if that was a Valk ultimate rotation or if that was off a balloon. It's like a Valk ultimate rotation we're just talking about there, how they can just fly in over the mountain like that. Can be the perfect rotation. Bangalore and Horizon, not quite. They're like mid-tier mobility legends at this point. So Bangalore obviously has the passive dash sprint when she gets shot at. Helps her move a bit quicker. Doesn't really help rotation though. Her rotation comes from using her ult, which is a bigger airstrike than Jibby's, and it can do enough damage to knock people down occasionally. Well, it will give away positioning, and there is only 2 of us in a trio's lobby because of our pathetic rage quitting or disconnecting Bloodhound.
Zipline here. Heard that warning. Movement in progress.
All right.
Always nice to see the banners who fly in there, because I get to come in as the champion for this one, because I won the previous game again as Horizon. Actually, similar game with the Bangalore. Actually, I think it was a different Bangalore, but we had a similar game. Ended up winning, and then we're gonna see if we can win a second one in a row on this one. But it's a long range wingman. Some people can use the wingman at this range anyway and be absolutely fine. But I am not pro. You are on the So Average channel. We have average shots here, average weapons, which means we are going to miss almost every shot. But when we hit, boy do we hit. The little blue indicators on the side there that wind up, that's what's going to be maximum charge damage. But you've got to let it charge up. I wonder if this weapon could do with having the Deadeye tempo, because it has the same charge up ability as the bow check. So that could be quite interesting. And this is an interesting rotation on Sorting Factory. This newish area on this corner bit here has made such a difference to this part of the map. It's really made Sorting Factory just so much more like interesting, and it's not just about the one big building. You've got a bit of like a corner area that you can use to rotate in on. As we push in, trying to get some angles, trying to catch them out. I swear we've got to play patiently. I'm very appreciative that I haven't got a 1v3ing sweaty Bangalore. As we just check the 6. There are still 5 squads. Again, we think we see somebody, but that could just be me. This is where it gets very, very tense. You're very tense here, but we're going to hold this corner. We know the ring is good here. Thinking about rotating out. Yep, they've got the zip line going up to the launch side up there. You look at the ring, it's actually not a terrible place for rotation. I see the Bangalore's already halfway over there, so it's like, okay. Let's get the rotation. We could stay where we are, but then people are more likely to notice you. Because if you make the rotation out, people then lose your location. Okay, so we have to remember
Close range.
that rotations are incredibly important. Even if it's last circle or second to last circle and there's no one around, people are watching you, they keep an eye on you, you need to rotate, reposition so people cannot keep up with where you are. And so what we're doing here is pick up a few extra resources, trying to get a different angle on the opponent, on the enemy. I'm obviously fine for loot, but you can never resist a shield bat. There's a care package there as well. Let me see somebody. Again, now it's a sniper range, but we still have the repeater, and I'm not switching it out.
Shot a cargo bot.
That's always a nice view. I thought I'd shot my own banner for a minute there, but I was shooting a cargo bot. That was a nice shot there of the banner. And we are starting to close in on the final moments of this game, where we're still poking damage, forcing them to use their resources. This is where it starts getting much more competitive. How pub games suddenly go from being absolute utter chaos and death in the first couple of minutes, all the way through to being like the most quiet, slowest poking game, as if it's like competitive. But this, of course, this is pubs. This is not competitive. Ooh. Do we answer back? We're gonna answer back.
1 minute.
Nope, not gonna answer back. But it's okay, this is why we have the spare shield battery here.
Stay focused. Still anyone's game.
Again, like the most useful item in the entire game is the shield bat.
Rings next door. 45.
Damage penalty.
There we go, there's the answer back. The crack, oh, they were very close to dying there.
The ring's near and closing in 30.
But you have to be super accurate with the repeater. So again, at this point, probably doesn't matter the fact that I'm Horizon. Could have been any legend. But I guess that really comes down to this game, whether you think it really is about legend meta or whether you think it's about player skill meta. And ultimately, yes, a good, amazing pro player will be good with whatever legend, doesn't matter, because their mechanical skill, their tactics, their mobility, their awareness is what wins them games. But for some people, the legend makes everything, and well, Apex is very, very good at using that and making their game around that. And so when people get, or when legends get such big nerfs, it does hurt the community. We don't see enough buffs. That's where you get a lot of angry players who disconnect. So we're going to go for one final rotation here. It's starting to turn into a bit of an arenas battle, really, with the amount of squads that are left. I reckon Sorting Factory could be
Reckon we should head
a
here.
potential arena. I know they're using different locations on maps, but Sorting Factory, this could be potentially a good arenas battle. Like, you've got one end here on this corner, we talked about earlier, and then that building over there could be like the other starting zone. And here we go, now we're starting more poking, more aggressive poking.
Shield's recharging.
Always check your low, always check your 6. Use those shield cells. Okay. Ooh. Nice. However, what I don't realise, if that might be the same. Yeah. Crypto getting very lucky there. But he doesn't seem to be doing a lot. I don't know what happened. Oh, Kraber, fuck. Ooh. Pathfinder is saved by the lamppost there, and Kravers me in return the headshot. Kraber headshot. Nothing could withstand the Kraber headshot, even with the purple helmet. That's okay, so a Phoenix kit. That's the Kraber's ultimate nemesis, the Phoenix kit. So we'll just go back, because I'm stupid about it and I want to take some more headshots.
Tango down.
Keep calm, dearies. We're already inside the next ring.
I think Mangalore's
Got
at the
another
crypto
squad
from earlier.
left. I don't know these numbers. Reloading.
There's Mirage out again.
Chimney. Putting lead down.
It's coming straight in. Here we go, the final fight.
Arcstar.
2 squads left. Bang dropped early, but it's fine. This is where Horizon comes into play, but it also requires a lot of nades, and where legends like Fuser, again, one of the lowest rate legends in the game, could be a pretty damn good combo with Horizon here. As we clean this up, hit the fire flatline,
Shooting at me.
and again, flatline death. Gotta love the flatline, but that is Horizon. She doesn't need a buff or anything, she's good as she is, just don't use her tactical. Like if you agree. Just if you don't, I don't care. Fight me.
You are the Apex champions.
Nice. Oh. So nearly a 2k. Should have thirsted the octane.